Hey, what's good, family? Hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, this your boy Chandre, man. I just finished watching the Super Bowl, and immediately after the football, because I'm a boxing fan before I'm a football fan, I jump on, start checking everything about the boxing. And yeah, I watched that fight last night, and it is ridiculous how Chavez Jr. is protected. As you can see, I'm looking at your video right now. I don't know if you can see yourself on my phone, but I'm actually looking at your video right now, and I just paused it in the middle of the video. I noticed you were touching on a lot of subjects that they were talking about and concerning Chavez Jr. And a lot of the things that you're talking about, I ride with you on it. I ride with you on it. They're protecting him to the utmost, and somewhere down the line, everybody keep talking about the boxing commission or whatever, but the commission to me doesn't even exist anymore. Like I said, they're all paid off officials, and you can buy judges. I mean everything. And then people could criticize Floyd about wanting steroid tests. I mean, come on, man, for real. The boxing public should stand up and actually say something about certain things. I don't blame him whatsoever for making everybody he fight take a steroid test. I don't blame him for wanting a blood test because I mean just look at the way stuff is going. And then this is the kicker right here because like I said I was watching your video and I haven't even went through the whole video yet. But to add insult to injury, um, Chavez Jr. You know how after every fight, the fight night, you're supposed to submit a drug test before you leave the arena. Chavez Jr. was allowed to leave the arena without the test for any kind of enhancement drugs. He actually left. Actually, Rubio's his corner and his trainers, managers, everybody else, they're actually trying to get with the commission and everything else and see why he was allowed to leave without submitting a drug enhancement test. And like you said, he came in 20 some odd pounds over, 21 pounds to be exact, and turned around and left that night without leaving a urinalysis test or any other kind of test for whatsoever. He just left. He didn't leave anything for a drug test. And you know he's been what was it, a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe three, I don't know. But he was found with enhancement drugs in his body. Two or three different types of enhancement drugs, if I'm not mistaken, not just one, but two or three different types of enhancement drugs. So once again, with the protection thing that you're talking about, he was able to leave last night without actually taking a drug test, and that is like crazy. But it's unheard of, really, because they stop you. They don't let you do anything. They send the people in right after you get out of the ring into your dressing room. So I do believe, he's really a fluke champion. Has been set up, and the media can make anybody look good. I mean, take Ricky Hatton for instance. They made him look like he was the great white hype, like he was the best thing since sliced bread. And when he actually had to buckle down and prove it, he couldn't. I say the same thing about Pacquiao. They give Freddie Roach all these accolades and say he's this great trainer and this, that, and the third, da da da. And it's not just me bashing Manny Pacquiao, but I'm just going off of the stuff with Julio Cesar Chavez, and it just leads right into that. The same thing with Freddie Roach, how they talk about he's this great trainer and he's this, he's that, he's that. He hadn't taught that young guy nothing. Hadn't taught him anything. I listened to the guys on ESPN talk about how Manny Pacquiao has developed this great right hand and all this. Pacquiao still doesn't have a right hand to me. I mean, granted he will throw a right hand now, but he's still just a 1-2-2, 1-2-2, 1-2-2, and then straight left hand. He does nothing else. He may move quick or whatever, but that's it. I don't see anything special about him as a boxer, and he's not a two-handed fighter, no matter what anybody says. And the same thing with him with the drug thing. It just looks to me as if he's coming down off drugs because they know Mayweather has the I don't want to just say the power, but he has the backing to actually to push him into taking a test, whether you want to or not. If this is the fight you want, he has no choice but to take that test. And they even showed, like you said about Larry Merchant, not asking Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. a lot of questions. I mean, in-depth questions like he would ask. The same way like when what's the guy's name that fought Marquez? Real good guy. What's his name? God damn, I can't believe a fighter's name is going through me like that. But anyway, it'll pop up. But the guy's brother had just died You know, he was fighting supposedly, you know, dedicating the fight to his brother, and he turned around after the fight in which Marquez won. But he turned around and he asked the guy about his brother being dead. He said, "How you feel about losing and your brother died?" And he's dedicated the fight to him. So you know, Merchant will say anything to anybody. He has no remorse, and he definitely drills Mayweather. I'm talking about to the fullest. He could not cut his grass that day, and Merchant will actually just beat Mayweather to death. Why you didn't cut your grass? You know, the people in the community are mad at you. You know, da 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 da. But it is amazing how he carefully selected his questions for um, Chavez Jr. It is absolutely amazing. And like you said, and I listen to people that are under contract with Bob Arum, and that's the first thing come out of their mouth. It's up to my promoter. What my promoter chooses for me to fight, who he chooses for me to fight, that's who I'm going to fight. What he chooses for me to say or do, that's what I'm going to do. It's like they join a cult when they join Top Rank. It's like no fighter can choose their own fighters. A lot of people are going online talking about how Mayweather Jr. Avoided Cotto. You know what I'm saying? How can you say he avoided Cotto when they were both signed to Top Rank? And if you go back and look, I think it was around 2005 before he fought Arturo Gatti. Um, Bob Arum goes on record as saying that would be a good fight between Mayweather and Cotto. He was like, but I don't feel like Cotto is well known enough right now, and he needs a little bit more publicizing before it'll be a good fight. He said, "Give me a year or two, and I'll make the fight." As you can see, they never fought because they were both his cash cows. He never let them fight, and it's amazing that how all of a sudden now they get to fight now that he's not under Top Rank anymore. Bob Arum is something. He is something. And so people criticize Mayweather for not fighting Margarito, but that was the last fight that he was going to take when he was under Top Rank. But he paid $750,000 to get out of that contract so that he could set up a fight with De La Hoya. And I don't see why people just really just keep criticizing him. And so what? He didn't turn around and fight Margarito again. I'm actually glad he didn't, considering that the dude been cheating his whole career. And as you can see, they just couldn't make it happen because of Bob Arum. Bob Arum is the thorn in every boxing fan's side. And that's just plain and simple. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, no way around it, no anything. And that's what's going on with boxing right now as far as the Top Rank's concerned. He just ruins everything. Um, Man, Nonito Donaire, I hope he and Gamboa somehow winds up in the same weight class because that would be amazing. That would be a great fight. I would love to see it. He'd exploit um, Gamboa's chin because Gamboa always gets hit like in exchanges or whatever, and he gets a lot of flash knockdowns. But I think Gamboa will still tear his ass apart. I don't see nobody beating Gamboa unless you just knock him out with a vicious one punch knockout. Other than that, I don't see him ever getting beaten. And I'm talking about period. He will retire undefeated. He's just that gifted. He's cocky, but he's just that gifted, and that's just what that is. But yeah. So back to Chavez Jr. He left the arena and also did not submit a drug test whatsoever. He just left before the whole drug testing thing even happened. And this was after his fight with Rubio. And with the 20-pound weight advantage, and you turn around and you say that this man was also on some enhancement drugs, couldn't have beat him if you tried. I mean, so it's weird that how they are treating him, And like you said, who wants to see him in Margarito? But Bob Arum will do that, and you coming off losses, and he throw you into a title bout. That's ridiculous. I don't know, man. We really need to set up something on here, or just start a whole domain, and really get us some kind of list going, and we need to really just boycott some of these top ranked matches because it's just ridiculous how they don't work with any other promoter and everything has to be in the house. That's garbage. And they always talking about, oh, we do what the commission say, we do what the commission say. Hell, you're creating a monopoly in boxing, and that is absolutely garbage, man, for us real boxing fans. But anyway, I was just adding on to what you said in your video in case you didn't know that. I was just throwing it out there. But yeah, he didn't even take his drug test. So that guy there is protected from on high, like they would say. So something going on with him. But anyway, check into that. Holla back at your boy. Just thought I'd add you some advice to go along with the superior boxing knowledge you already have. All right? Fuck with me.